Hello, hello! Welcome. It's been a while since I did one of these streams. Things have been so hectic, but it's good to be back. I've still been doing some studies, even though I haven't been streaming, so I've managed to keep my streak going at the very least. But I'm glad to be back and actually building something so I can continue working with these projects, because last time we left off, we had something, and we got to turn this something into something prettier. And let me see, can I get this? Is it even running? I don't think it is. But like npm started. Let me see. If we go into our console here, terminal. Oh, there we go. Finally appeared. Okay, so that's what we got now. And every time we click a button, we get a new quote. We need to pretty this up, I guess. But let's get the logic right first. What do we need to do? I could see a wrapper element with a corresponding ID of quote box. Do we have a quote box? I think we do. Yeah, we got a quote box. And then we also need... Within quote box I could see an element with corresponding ID of text and author and new quote, as well as tweet quote. On first load, my quote machine displays a random quote in the element with ID of text, which we have. On first load, my quote displays a random quote author in the element with ID of author. When the new quote button is clicked, my quote machine should fetch a new quote and display it in the text element. Last time I wanted something crazy, like 50 quotes. I think I'm just gonna do... I think I'm just gonna do a few quotes, like a handful. Um. So there's a quote by Simeon de Beauvoir, I think? Yeah, did I butcher that? That's a pretty interesting quote. Change your life today, don't gamble on the future. Act now, without delay. I like that. So we're gonna go and replace our random quotes. We're gonna make it a two-dimensional array. So the first is gonna be the quote itself. And the second one is gonna be the quote author. Which in this case is Simone de Beauvoir, de Beauvoir. I'm gonna stop trying that. And then let's find another quote. Take an Eleanor Roosevelt quote. Why not? I'm not like pretty fussy or picky, so get that in there. And Eleanor Roosevelt. I'm just like looking up top quotes. So if these are top quotes, then cool. What else do we need? Another 3? Ooh. This is a good one. Only I can change my life. No one can do it for me. I like that. And that is by Carol, Carol who? Carol Burnett. Burnett. And we need 2 more. Failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough. Oof. Yes. OG Mandino. And the last one that we want, that's an unknown, so we can't really quote an unknown. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Confucius. Wow. A good one as well. Pretty relevant for us as well. We've slowed down our pace a bit, but as long as we keep going. So it's interesting, like, Confucius, like, did he name himself that? Because I know it's like on a religion, but his name was Kong Hui? If I'm saying that correctly? But how did he get that moniker? Interesting. Okay, so now we have our quotes and our authors, and it looks better than quote 1, quote 2, quote 3, quote 4. What we now need to do is... this length should remain the same. if I return 1, that should just give us the authors. Yeah, perfect, I was right. So if I return 0 here, that would just give us a quote. And then only problem now is we also need to update the oh, actually, you know what we can do? If I'm not mistaken, we can just add in here .random quote. If I do 1, that should give us the author still. Yeah, perfect. If I change this to 0, that's the random quote. So for author, we literally duplicate this. And we stick the exact same code in, except we put 1 in. Because then we'll get the author of that specific quote, so they're kind of linked. Because then that way, there's probably a neater way to do that, but when we get the quote, because initially the way I did this was it was just quotes, we didn't have the author as well, but I decided to do a 2D array, so that we can get the quote and the author in one to reference. So then when we're getting the random quote, there's no need for me to set the index of 0 for the quote itself. We just get the entire 2D object, so that when we're actually displaying it, because author and quote go hand in hand, right? You will usually have an author to the quote. So then we get the random quote. Index 0 is the actual quote, and index 1 is the author of that quote. So if we reload now, there we go. Failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough, by OG Mandino. So yeah. Obviously not enough quotes, so we sometimes... The thing is, I do have a check in there to ensure that we never repeat the same quote twice. But it could repeat the third time, so we could probably add another check, but I mean, I think it's fine as it is. Maybe when we're done with this, we can like drop 5 more quotes, so it won't be that hard, and then it's kind of a bit more variety. But what I want to do today is just flesh out the functionality. So I needed the quote, I needed the author. Let's check our requirements. So we've done that. All of these we've done. We've done that. This is also done. My quote machine should fetch the new quotes also when, yeah, we've done that. I can tweet the current quote by clicking on the tweet a quote A element. So we need an A element. This A element should include the... Do we have an A element? That's a div ID tweet quote. So we need an A element. By clicking on the tweet quote A element. Oh, so we need an A inside the div, probably? I guess that's what they mean. So, and then the text, what do we make the text? Should we just like say tweet this quote? Something like that? And the ref needed to be like that. Intent tweet this quote. What does that give us? Right, but when we deploy... Oh, why is it adding the link to the URL every single time we click it? Is that how React handles things? Should probably add a target blank to it, shouldn't we? Reloads. We'll figure it out afterwards. Right. So that's done. What's left now? The quote box wrapper. The quote box wrapper element. Did we start? Yeah, we did. Should be a horizontally centered. Horizontally centered. Okay. Probably like a flex box, maybe? I'm gonna have to play around with it in the browser just to make sure I got the right CSS. Where is our style editor? There it is. Display, flex. Whoopsie. Wait, if we do flex, then they're all gonna be like that. Oh, then we can do flex direction, can't we? Flex direction column. Then, flex... what is it? Justify? Is it justify content center? I always get confused with this, or justify items. I really need to do that CSS game. Or align items. So I can stop guessing every single one. There we go. Align items. So this is all I'm gonna need in my CSS. So let's go stick that in there. So we can remove all of this, because this was the default CSS. And let's see if that, yeah, there we go. Cool, so what we're gonna do now is stick all this into the CodePen that we can fork and see if we pass the tests and take it from there, because then all that's left to do is style it up, make it look a bit prettier. Okay, so we can remove this. No CSS, important. Wait, we can remove that. So JS Babel, I think it's going to transpile it. I hope. So we should... Ooh, I don't know. This is the app.js and you got to export it. I have no idea how this will work now. I think we don't need all of these imports and calls. I think it just does it in the background. So we should be able to literally just call function app and return handle quotes. So I think we just need this, to be honest. So stick that in there. And are we getting anything? Do I need to add something? Babel is the preprocessor. Weird. Do I need something? Wait, it said something here about it, didn't it? Somewhere here. Well, actually, let's see what they did for their CodePen. How did they do it? Did they add... Oh, they put it in HTML? What? Why are they storing this in local storage? I just realized something now. None of this is React. This isn't React. At some point in time, this must have been, I guess updated this project so the requirements are React, because the requirements are that, okay, maybe it wasn't a hard requirement, it was you should use a front end, but it's not like a you must. Because this doesn't help us now because there's no React here, so we can't really see how we would have done this. Maybe we need to add the libraries? I wonder. Let's see what they said. There was something that they said. Well, apparently we can use the CDN to link to run the test in any environment. I could import that, potentially. Should we try that? Where can I do that though? Because we got app, and then we got index.js. This is what renders. And then we got, but that's public. Yeah, it is. Interesting. Okay. Wait, how do I make it? Nope. It's not a style sheet, is it? What are we importing? Oh, it's a JavaScript file. Is that the CDN that we needed? Because we just need a source then, don't we? Okay, so it's... Wait, it's not a link then, is it? I think that should be all we need. And if we go here... Does it load it though? Bundle. Yeah, there it is. Bundle. But why is it not loading? Weird. Are we missing something? Or you can use the CDN link to run the test in any environment you like. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, that's all they did. And then we don't want it in the head. Unload all the body closes. There we go. We got it. So this is the random quote machine. 8 of 12. Clickable A element with the corresponding ID tweet quote. I can see a clickable A element. Was that a requirement? I thought it was a div. A clickable element. Oh. So that can be a button, right? With the link. Technically, we can have a button for that eventually. So clickable. ID is gonna be, well, let's just take this. Could just, oops, not there. Do something like that, and then remove the div. And yeah, we're gonna have to do some CSS stuff to correct that. You're not happy with that? I could see a clickable A element. Oh, you want the A element to have that, okay. To have that ID, I got you. So then in that case, let's remove the button altogether. We just have a link and then we'll pretty it up. What? We only got 8. 500 milliseconds. When the new quote button is clicked, so the button needs to have an ID of new quote. Did we do that? No, we didn't. My bad. Actually, we might as well wrap this in a div, the A element. Let's run it again. Oh, there we go. Hey, we did it. We did it. So I could see a wrap element. Cool. So we passed. All of it passed. And the layout passed as well. And the stack passed. Perfect. We did it. A script with the script tag, careful. Sorry, Emma, hey, how's it going? A script with the script tag. Yeah, I was wondering, I was copying theirs. I was like, huh? That's a bit weird, because you'd usually do link, wouldn't you? And then type JavaScript in the source. So then I was just like, what? Why? Why are we doing that? Is that a thing? You can do that apparently. And I'm repeating IDs, am I? Did I correct it or am I still repeating IDs? Am I repeating IDs still? I was? Oh, I corrected it? Oh, right, I was probably like in the throes of copy and pasting. How are you doing, by the way, Emma? How's your weekend been? Whew. Seems I passed the challenge, now we just gotta pretty it up. And how do we go about doing that? I feel we need to get our model from my previous project that I created. It was just a bunch of CSS. We can always use what was it again? It was something. Bootbox. So I checked out Bootbox once upon a time, and I don't know if I want to use the model that I have or just use Bootbox. But apparently you're gonna need, I might need Bootstrap. But I mean, Bootbox looks nice. You know what I mean? It like creates a nice little model. But it might not be as readily customizable because it's pretty standard. And I mean, you can play around with the CSS. But You know what I mean? I just feel it's going to be easier to work with this than... I think I'll go with my one rather, because I know what's going on. Let's go and find that now. Where did I use it? I think I used it in my project. Under main. I think it was just a CSS, to be honest. So styles, that one, and the index, obviously. And then I just had a wrapper for it. So this, the Modal overlay, the Modal itself, the button to close it, the header, and the content. That was all. I just realized something. Has this been broken this whole time? Because this div is for the content, but the overlay is by itself. Was it supposed to be like that? I can't remember now. I honestly can't remember if it was supposed to be like this or not. Actually pretty boring. In like a good boring, you got to relax kind of way, or? What am I making? Making a random quote machine. Power C9K. Welcome, by the way. I'm trying to put together my model. Oh snap! You guys weren't supposed to hear that. Literally, oh snap. Let me grab this from my previous project. So that's going to be the root. I actually need to work it into my JS file over here somewhere. So let's figure out how we're gonna work this. I need the overlay. That needs to be actually. I'll just have that inside of my main element, to be honest. I really don't need anything else. It's not as hard as I thought it would be. Except for what is going on. Oh, did this not... that's a pity. Okay, so that's the overlay. Opening and closing tag is there, that's fine. That's for the model itself. The header and the content is fine. And then we're probably gonna have to get Font Awesome anyway for all the other stuff. So let's go get Font Awesome. I might as well I think this is the latest one anyway, or there might be an update to it. That's good. So then we'll have the button. Then we just need the CSS for modal. And we're gonna have to tweak this because that was specifically for my one project. I'm not sure how much of this is gonna be relevant right now. And I think that should be it. Oh, we need, hold on. Oh. Okay, this changes things a bit. My project was on click, so when I'll click a button, we'll get the modal. We need the modal now, just in general, so no hiding, so I'm gonna have to... We're gonna have to change a few things. So in the CSS, the modal display, none, needs to be removed. Modal visible, because yeah, that's not gonna be needed anymore. Modal visible, that can go. The content and error, error, modal header. We can have modal. Oopsie. We can have modal header and modal content overlay. We're not gonna have because there's gonna be no overlay, so that can all go. Animate. I don't know. It depends if we're gonna apply an animation on the button for the content, but that should be it. That means we don't need the overlay anymore. That can just go. And the modal is fine. Button close. We won't need that anymore either. Actually, now that I think about it, we're not trying to close anything. So that can go. The header we need, the content we need. And that's it. And then inside of each one, so in the content, we're gonna need the text and the author. We're gonna have to put everything in the content, I think. I haven't really thought about the layout, to be honest. And we also need to adjust the size of this. I really haven't thought about this. Is there Flexbox on? No, there's just transform. Z-index, I don't think we're gonna need anymore. The width we need to change to like, I don't know, maybe like 40%, or we can have a fixed width. Actually, I think we're gonna want a fixed width and not a percentage. We don't want that scaling. So maybe let's start with 400 pixels. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Let's work from there. Okay. I don't want there to ever be any wrapping, so I'll do like a minimum of 800. And that should be good for all our quotes. And then I need those centered. and that's inside the content. So we can just apply align items to model content, I guess. I think we can remove these IDs, they're no longer needed. That was when I had the JavaScript. So we don't need these IDs anymore. Probably don't need the animate one either, but we'll see, we'll work it in. The background color, yeah, minimum height, that's to calculate so that it's centered. I wonder if this is going to break our validation now for centering it, but we'll see. What do I want to do? There was something, what was it? There was something I wanted to do. What did I want to do? There was something. Oh man. Oh right, the align items. So under content. Can we have position and flex on one? I don't remember if you can. Display flex and then flex direction column. Yeah, we can. Okay, we're gonna have to do that. That should be fine, then the wrapper centers everything. So we just need basically these three things. Great. Do we pass the test still? Of that flex? Yeah, we do. Cool. So I want a pretty button. I don't know about the layout yet. Where'd you get the quotes? Right now it's static. I signed up for an API and I was going to test it with Postman, but then I thought I'm getting a little too complicated for just a simple project that I need to pass. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But I decided that I'd rather just get static quotes. So I just picked 5 quotes and I stuck them in a 2D array. First one being the quote itself, and then the second one the quote author. Then I'm just storing it in state and then accessing the index. Index 0 is always going to be the quote, and index 1 is the author. But otherwise I would have just used an API. We could get random backgrounds, couldn't we? We need a font as well, like a pretty font, like a quote type font. And this whole model thing in general needs to change. We can add a box shadow to the model, so we can actually see it, because right now you don't see it, you just see a white background. In fact, we could set the background, give the background like a dark color so we could see what's going on. There it is. So we want to make it wider. I don't know. The author. Struggling to visualize it, because remember I turned this from an error model. I had a model box that worked perfectly. See. It was from this project that I did. So, you know, you get an error box, and it works for that. I built it specifically for that, but now I'm trying to chop it up so get it to work for my little quote system. You can use drop config for it, for the for quotes. Ah. Okay, that looks cool. Thanks. I'm gonna save that for the future. Oh, nice. I see the quotes here. You created the object. That's really cool. I don't know how to feel about this. I really don't. I'm like at a loss now. All I know is the buttons need to come down. Maybe let's put everything into like the thing itself and things will start to look better. Do we need a div anymore? I don't think we do. Now that it's going to be housed inside of that div element, we can just have them in their simple state. So, like this. And then we're going to need some spacing. I don't know what... do we want that as a button? All I know is that button needs to be fixed. Do not like that button. I think I did some styling for one of my buttons where I removed all of the... Yeah, remove the border and then set the width and the height. That should already make a big difference. So let's go ahead and do that. So no border. Let's remove borders and height. Leave the height to auto. Let's give it a width. I just want it to be larger. Like 100 pixels maybe? I want the height to be larger as well. Let's do 200 pixels. The height can be something like 50 pixels. And the ID is new quote. I don't generally like to style with IDs, but I mean, I'm not going to go and create a class just for this now. That would be silly. And then change the font size to maybe 22 pixels. Might be a bit too big. Okay. And then tweet. Give it some padding. Sorry. I need to pay attention to chat. I don't have my usual chat box open. Fun project! Yes, there are quite a few interesting projects as well. This was one of them. It's mainly to incorporate React, because I haven't worked with React before. And initially I wasn't thinking React, and I'm probably not thinking quite as React as I need to be. Because, yeah, imagine having 5 more quotes like this. You probably want to store this in a separate file. But because I need to work in a single project file because it needs to be uploaded to CodePen, I thought I might as well just have everything in one file. Or just make it easier other than having to merge everything afterwards. So initially I had this in an array outside of it, but then I realized how do I know what the previous value was for a quote or have it start. And that's where I realized I'm going to have to incorporate it into the state. So I can store it in state, and then the random quote that gets picked gets saved in state, and then we make sure that as long as the new quote that we picked is not the same as the one in the state, then we can display the quote. That's just to prevent, you know, the same quote being displayed twice. But that's about all I really did. Yeah, so we need some padding now between, I don't think those are even separate elements. Are they? Oh, they are. Text and author. So... And sorry, am I? You're a professional programmer? That's awesome. What languages do you specialize in? And yeah, I'm on day 56 now of doing the 100 Days of Code challenge. So I've mainly just been going through Free Code Camp. And I've got into the front-end library section. It's really cool, the amount of stuff that you can go through. And everything that I've done up to this point is self-taught. So you got the basics there. The JavaScript algorithms was really exciting, but then I realized my math sucks. So I need to work on that. Front-end libraries was fun as well. Mainly the React and then the stores in Redux made so much more sense. And then obviously whatever I learned in those sections I need to incorporate into the projects, and we're busy doing the quote machine right now. So I was considering using Bootstrap for this quote machine, mainly so that I can use, was it Bootbox? It wasn't Bootbox, it was something else. What was it now? Yeah, it was Bootbox, yeah. So basically, I would have the models like I have now, but then I would have to configure things and edit the CSS there, so I thought I might as well just use the existing one I had. The rest of the stuff, especially the APIs, I'm really looking forward to. You have a very impressive understanding. Thank you. I just really enjoy it. It makes me happy. It's like everyone knows what they want to do, and I started out in IT. I worked in it for 5 years, and even though I was really good at it and I loved it, like I love tech and computers in general, I couldn't see myself doing it. It was just, it's fun, but it wasn't challenging. It's just, okay, deploy a server, configure a server, handle networks of up to 200, 300 computers at a time. And maybe if I did, higher end server stuff, it would have been challenging, but eventually it ends. With programming, what I like is there's a constant challenge. You get given a problem and you need to solve it. And no two problems are ever the same, so it's like you learn something, you can use it in the next problem. And use a block quote tag? Yeah, that's a good idea. Mostly Node.js and React is where you work with? Okay, so you interact with the backend like that. Yeah, and it's actually fun to be able to do something and get paid to do it. I don't know, IT is just a very different kind of ball game. And especially when you start off as a junior, it's not fun. I don't know, people just... It's weird, it's like you're not really a person when you're doing IT. And developers, I think, have it a little bit easier, but still not really as respected as other fields. But then again, what fields really are respected? If you think about retail, God, so many stories. I'm sure a lot of us have stories starting out in retail. So block quote, yeah, good idea. We wanted padding. I was gonna apply that to text. I'm gonna add, yeah, bottom. So we're gonna target text. And we're just gonna add, I think about 10 pixels. Should look okay. And then we're gonna have that larger. Wrap it in a block quote. I feel the spacing's a bit too much. Try 6 pixels and font size of the button's 22, so let's do something like 28. And I don't want wrapping. And this kind of adds like a little bit of flair, the color. So if we had the background changing like some sites do, that could be like the contrasting color. So that kind of, I don't know. That's supposed to be the header where you'd like enter your error messages header. But it's kind of growing on me. Yeah, and then what happened here? Because of the wrapping, it looks weird. So how can we correct this? Either the element needs to be larger, or, and that's a problem because now I'm not really doing it responsive, and I don't think I am going to do it responsive for this project. The easy way is just increasing that width. The other way is decreasing the font. The standard 1024. Most people should have that resolution nowadays. And then we got the quote, and then wrap it in a block quote. Might have to style it a bit more though. The text, we might have to wrap the whole thing actually. Then we got the padding and everything already. It's interesting, why did that end up going on the new line? Does it not inherit the Flexbox properties anymore? So we got content, which is so it's centered the block quote. Oh, does it handle it as literally a block element and it doesn't inherit? Is that why? It looks like it. Yeah, it's a content box, that's why. Well, I mean that's fine. Have the quote centered and then the author on the left. I mean, it's not a big deal. We can always center it. I was just wondering. Flex only goes one level deep. Alright. Okay. That explained why it wasn't inheriting. We could obviously display inherit instead of actually telling it to display flex. On our model, we could just do display inherit, couldn't we? And that will still have the same. No, that won't? I thought it would be. So it won't inherit from its parent? That's weird. Model, the child, the parent is quote box. Oh, okay, because it's both model and model header, so if I wanted that I would have to target model separately, and I'm not going to have a separate declaration just for that. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Got the text, we got that, we got the button. I don't feel happy about the quote, the tweet this quote thing at all. We could always put we could inline them. The quote button and the tweet button, but then I feel it's not going to be a great UI experience.
Superbeer 1994 is following the family.
Superbeer, welcome. Good to have you. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. What I was going to say is it's not a good user experience to combine the new quote button and the tweet this quote button on the same line, because then it kind of detracts away from, the flow of things. You want a new quote, you got it. The tweet should be separate. So we could have it as a button underneath, but then again detracts from the whole purpose of that. So, and I want one of those Twitter icons, but where we include it right now, it just feels off. Like I could have it float to the left, but then the way the flow of things right now, it just would be weird. And I just feel that a button itself, an icon, is just not going to work here. So if anything, we should just have it plain text and change the color. So obviously that default color, remove it. So what is our default color? Do we have one? I don't think we do. Just gonna go with black. Oh, I always get tripped up because you get font size and text align and all these things. I'm like, why can't they just use one? And then you got background color. And then I'm thinking of removing the hyperlink underline and then adding it on mouse over. But then it might not appear as a link. That's the problem. But we definitely need some padding there. That's after the quote button. I think we already have something defined here for the button. We did. New quote? I think it's new quote, yeah. So padding, bottom. Let's do 10 pixels for this one. Wait. Is it new quote? Does it look like there's padding? Doesn't look like there's any... Oh, right. Buttons are a bit different. You need margin if you want the actual spacing at the bottom. Yeah. Gonna drop the font size a bit. Overall. So that's gonna drop to 20, 2 pixels less, and then our font size itself can drop to 26. Do you have any idea, if any of you know why when I click the tweet this quote button, or like just links in general, it appends the URL to the current page? Is that because like it's still in development or whatever? Do I have to like React eject or something? Because it doesn't open the URL in a new page. Yeah, why is it appending it? That's so weird. You need to have a full path? Oh, do you mean like the actual like URL like that? Because I just copied the ref that they gave us. Oh, it is, right. That's weird. They like give us, it should have, the element should include twitter.com intent tweet path in its ref attribute. Okay, now enough for future reference. So when you don't have the, what do you call it, that part of the section of the URL, it treats it as just a path. That makes sense, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, like folder paths, if you wanted like image / yeah, okay, so it's actually trying to look for a twitter.com folder. Are we still passing? Yeah, we're passing, good. Okay, so that works. Only problem is, this is not actually tweeting that quote. How do I get the content into that? I think there's a way where you can like pass the content in. Let's look it up. Twitter default tweet content URL, I guess. The embed tweet button, nope. Parameters, there we go. That's weird that they say that, yeah. When the browser sees anything with the protocol, yeah. Probably a query string, right? So like text, URL, hashtags, okay. That's for buttons. Right, that's for actually displaying it. Web intent, I think it was. Yeah, this one. So text is what you wanna display. The URL is that like to what you're trying to link to. Hashtags. That could be cool if we had like hashtag, but I don't think I'm gonna go like too crazy. I think I'm just literally gonna have text, that's all. Pre-populated UTF-8 and URL encoded tweet text. Wait, does that mean I have to like specifically replace like characters in HTML form? Just try it quickly, see what happens. So it's just, oh, the text. Oops. Will it automatically? Oh, it does. It automatically handles it. Use that function. Okay, so there's an actual function for it. I haven't worked with try and catch before though. And it's weird. We passed through the entire algorithm section, and it's like all they taught us really is algorithms and objects and arrays. I'm not sure when. So how does try work? Is it that's what the function is going to be? That's what it's going to try to do? It's going to call that function? And if there's an error, it will just log an error or something? You won't need try catch, right? I'll just decode URI, and then whatever encoded is the URI. So is this going to be my string, essentially? That's going to be my string. So I can just pass it from state. And then... Wait, is encode URI an actual... Oh, it is a function. Nice. We literally just... Okay, let's see how we can incorporate this. How do we pass... Can we pass a variable to the ref tag? We should be able to, right? Using JSX? We're gonna need it before the return then. So... I'll just call it tweet. Problem is we need the text as well. And the author. What do we want it to look like? I want to add a hyphen in as well. Let me actually test something real quick. We're gonna need both of these. Let's test something. And then just add a hyphen and the author, something like that. Undefined, what? Is that me right now? Line 56. Oh, it was up here, 54 invoked. Wait, what? Oh, you know about template strings? Yeah, template literals. I don't want a new line. I want it to be... Oh, Twitter does support new lines though. I was just gonna have it like the quote and then a hyphen, the author. Oh, there it is. But then what's it complaining about? I didn't realize. There's my quote. Yeah, that's how I want it to appear. We'll also add a full stop afterwards. But why is it complaining now? Invalid DOM property class. Did you mean class name? Oh, right. It doesn't support class in JSX. So all of these have to... But then why is it working? How is it working then? It's invalid, but... That's weird. So all of these have to be class name. Weird. So it works, but it complains about it. Okay, so initially it's undefined because we didn't call the component did mount. We might have to put that in the component did mount or have a function for it. We'll see now. On the first render state isn't set, on the second render it is. Oh yeah, because I'm waiting for it to mount first and then I get the quote and I set a quote. And this one runs beforehand. So that's what I'm considering in which life cycle I'm gonna put it in. But I'm still trying to... Does that matter though? Because by the time it loads, we're gonna have a quote. Because if I put in that component did mount part, then it's never gonna update again, the quote. If you call this.setRandomQuote in the constructor, then it will be set at the start. This.setRandomQuote in the constructor. Really? So it won't run it multiple times? Because I was trying to play with the life cycle only once. Super beer, yeah, I actually did. I completed that section. It's a lot of fun. Really challenges your math skills. Yeah, I did all of it. ES6 was fun, but I mean, they taught you ES6 before even covering... Like, they literally teach you the basics, and you go straight to ES6 and you have no idea what's going on. So if you're still doing it, I suggest you do the ES6 section last. Unless you want to struggle. The data structures was okay. I liked the algorithm scripting. The object-oriented programming, the whole paradigm was okay. Functional programming is good. It has its uses. But the intermediate section was not fun. And the projects were easy enough. So the cycle is constructor render component did mount. And constructor and component did mount only run once. Okay, so I'm just kind of duplicating. Well, not duplicating, but I could have set it in the constructor, or I could have done it in the component did mount, right? I'm stuck at intermediate algorithm scripting? Which part? Oh, intermediate algorithm scripting? Which challenge are you stuck on? So that's gonna be our tweet. But what about our tweet now? Because yeah, I can stick it in the constructor. I'm gonna leave it here just so that I remember to use states, lifecycle components, because I do forget about them and they're really helpful. But I'm gonna remember that I could do that in the constructor. That makes sense, because once you create it, everything that's created will only ever run once. It doesn't ever update it again. Thank you so much for your helpfulness, by the way, PowerC9K. I really appreciate it. And yeah, Super Beer, let me know what part are you stuck on. So I want this to be the tweet, right? So that's gonna be our tweet, and then we're gonna append that. So it's gonna be tweet. It was text, right? Text equal to. And then we're gonna need this to be wrapped in. then we're gonna do encode URI and our tweet. See if that works for us. Hey, look at that. Looks good, huh? Let's see what happens when we first load the page though. Is it going to be blank? No, it's not. There are two calls that get called though. The first time it's empty. The second time, once a quote is generated, it's not. It's not a, you know, big train smash, but it is running twice. So we could always... You can also do a template literal there too. I could, couldn't I? You think that's better? And then stick to the consistency? Oops. Wait, that's not gonna do what I think it's gonna do. Needs to end with a double quote. And then this needs to be inside of that. There we go. That should be it. Wait, what? Where's it trying to take it? Intent tweet text equal to... Oh. What happened to the... Do we not need the double quotes anymore when it's in that format? Wait, this belongs to you. This... Yeah. Okay. No double quotes. Why do we not need double quotes though? And we still got one of the tags in. Why is there tag still trailing? Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, we're good. If you inspect the element, you'll see React did it for you. Okay, so it does that because of the HTML attributes. Right, yeah, I see that. And I can actually, yeah, see how it's encoding it as well. It's pretty cool. And there's the reference right over there. That's really cool. I completely forgot about those functions. And that's what I like about doing these projects, because I can come back to them and look at all the different techniques that I applied. I try not to repeat myself with the techniques, so at least every project that I do is unique. And hopefully I learn from it. Do we still need target blank then? Yeah, probably, because it's still going to open up on the same page if we don't. I thought it would be different with the intent, but I would just direct it immediately. Why are you complaining? Using target blank without No opener, no referrer is a security risk. Okay. Expose you. Oh wow. So you can do cross-origin injection. Oh. Jeez, okay. Right. So then we should just add that and then we'll have no problem. Good to know as well. The target blank. Tomorrow I'll spend time just prettying this up, but that's pretty much it. It's done. We get random quotes. We could have them fade in if we wanted to. Could do a lot of things. But the functionality is done and we pass. So essentially if I wanted to just complete this project right now, we're done. We're good. You gotta go? Thank you so much, Pausinike. I really appreciate it. I'm actually gonna head off myself. I just still wanted to do a quick stream today so I can get my hour in at the very least. Thank you so much for dropping by and thank you so much for all your tips. I really appreciate it. It's really great to see someone that's working as a professional in the field and, you know, can share their input and wisdom with someone who's self-taught. So I really appreciate that and hopefully I'll see you around sometime. But yeah, and to everyone else that came by, Super Beer, thank you so much for the follow once again. Emma, it was great of you to drop by. And everyone else, the lurkers, it's good to have you guys as well. I'll be back tomorrow though, it's a new week. We're gonna start, I think we can complete all of these projects by the end of the week, hopefully. Then again, the drum machine, I don't know. That could be something interesting. I've done these two in similar projects, so it's just the drum machine I'm unsure of. The Markdown preview is going to be fun. Then I could finally incorporate that with my GitHub tool. But yeah, until then, till the next time, we'll see you guys on the next stream. Bye for now.